Hi, it's Dave again from BMC. In an earlier video, I introduced the vulnerability management feature in BladeLogic Portal. I showed how vulnerability management can import a scan file generated by a utility such as Qualys or Nessus. And I demonstrated how to map assets and vulnerabilities detected in the scan file to servers and remediation content in a BladeLogic system. Now I'm going to show you how, with a few simple clicks, you can use all that mapped information to launch operations in BladeLogic Portal to correct the vulnerabilities detected in the scan file. First, I'm going to review vulnerabilities on a dashboard and create a collection of the vulnerabilities I want to correct.
In the previous video, I had just mapped vulnerabilities to BladeLogic content. From there, I select Vulnerability Management Dashboard. The dashboard shows summary and detailed information about the servers and vulnerabilities detected in a scan. The dashboard doesn't show any data until you select one or more scans. I use the scan filter to select the scan file data I want to show on the dashboard. This is the list of servers and their vulnerabilities that you can potentially remediate. You can use filters to limit the number of items in the list. In this example, we begin with 90 items. I'm going to reduce the contents of that list using filters. For example, if I use the severity filter and select severity 5, you'll notice the number in the list goes down to 30. However, I'm just going to use the server group filter and select WinG1. That's the group where I want to deploy remediation content. The groups available in this filter are the smart groups and static groups that are defined on your BSA system. Notice now the number of vulnerabilities is down to 40. Now I launch the Vulnerability Management Operation Wizard to create operations to correct vulnerabilities. I simply click Remediate. Here I enter a name for the operation. If your user ID is assigned to more than one portal security group, you must also select a security group down here. When the wizard generates operations, it uses the name you enter and appends the type of remediation action, such as a deploy job, and a number. For example, if the name you enter is September Security Fixes and the wizard generates a deploy job, the operation is called September Security Fixes Deploy Job 01. When you're happy with this information, click Next. And here is a list of the remediations that the wizard will deploy. If you don't want to deploy one, you just select the check mark to clear it. If necessary, you can use filters to limit the number of remediations displayed. Bear in mind that filtering remediations does not remove them from the list. The only way to remove a remediation is to clear the check mark. Alternatively, you can go back to the dashboard and use filters there to control the list of remediations that you're going to correct. When you're happy with this list, click Next. You are prompted to select a job group. This is a location in the BSA jobs folder where jobs are stored when they are automatically created by the portal. Select the jobs folder and click OK. The operations page shows the operations being created. In this example, there are two, a deploy and a Windows patching operation. On this page, you can set up global job approvals that apply to all operations that the wizard generates, or you can set up job approvals for each individual operation. In this example, we're going to set up job approval globally. So for approval type, we select automatic. When you make this selection, all operations that the wizard generates will require automatic job approval. Note that to enable job approval, you must connect the portal to BMC Atrium Orchestrator, and BMC Server Automation must be integrated with BMC Remedy ITSM. The operation page also lets you set up a global schedule or schedule individual operations. In this example, we're going to set a global schedule, but we're going to override that schedule for one operation. First, we set the global schedule. I select with schedule to indicate I'm defining a schedule. Here, I set a time and a date. You must set a time at least 5 minutes in the future. I select the time of 1 a.m. the next morning, which is our next maintenance window. Now we can override the global schedule for the patching operation. We want that operation to run during a maintenance window over the weekend. So I click Override Global Scheduling and/or Approval. Selecting this option lets me define separate schedules for each operation. On the row for the patching operation, I click the configuration icon. A dialog opens. Here I make sure the with schedule option is selected. I set a time and a date for the operation to execute. For this example, I change the date to Saturday, which is the maintenance window we prefer. I click OK. Some types of operations require additional information, and you would use a similar interaction to provide that information by clicking this configuration item. But here, nothing additional is required. In the planned operation list, make sure that all the operations have a green check indicating they are ready to execute. Finally, I click Finish. I could have used the Notifications page, which is the next page in the wizard, to set up notifications that are generated when an operation runs. For this example, I didn't bother with notifications. Now the operations that the wizard generates appear on the portal's home page. They are ready to execute. Congratulations, you have successfully used the vulnerability management capabilities of BladeLogic Portal to import vulnerability information from a vulnerability management system, map that information to servers and remediation content in your BladeLogic system, and then automatically generate the operations necessary to correct those vulnerabilities. You are now ready to learn more about the automation capabilities of BMC BladeLogic Server Automation and BladeLogic Portal.